I'm going to be making a divot tool from this old wrought iron nail. Step one is light the forge. I'm going to get the head of the nail nice and hot so I can start flattening that out and thin the whole upper shank of the nail. Unfortunately, this cheap Harbor Freight anvil is so soft on the face it really doesn't do a great job. Going back in for some more heat. Now just kind of thinning the taper out a little bit. Here I'm lining up the maker's mark, the silver loaf mark. Just going to stamp that in a second time, make it nice and deep. And just kind of gently flattening it, making it as straight as I possibly can before the next step of grinding. So unfortunately this is really hard to record with one hand and hold this divot tool in the other hand while I grind, so I don't catch the whole thing. I mean the whole process. After I clean up this end, I'm going to flip it around and just establish the length and use the grinder to just sever that little bit, pop it off there. Then I got to clean up that end and start the taper. And this is really the most tedious part of the process. Making sure that I keep that taper centered on the whole shank. And I will use the diameter of the wheel to establish it. You'll see the end result here in a moment. Run it off. And here it is, fully shaped, and I'm just polishing up the bare metal parts. Getting ready for the next step of heating it up, torching it, and then quenching it in oil to get those nice blues and purples. What I guess typically people will call it an oil can finish. I've only seen that one referring to wedges, but I'm assuming that's a term that goes with anything that follows this process, heating it up and quenching it in oil once those colors are present. You see a little bit of that straw color, a little bronze, and then out towards the tip it's just starting to get those blues and purples. Now it's really starting to creep down the shank. So I'll turn off the heat here shortly and get ready to quench it. A little bit more heat. And looking really good so far. Yeah, it's about done. Yeah, so satisfying. And there's the finished product. Just clean it up with some hot soapy water. That was a fun little project. Now that this one is done, I'll post it up in my eBay store before too long, or I might set this one aside for a giveaway. I guess we'll find out soon enough.